Hello everyone, welcome to Database Management. This is week 13. In the previous few weeks, we have been focused on try to find the right rows and columns from one or more tables. Now, let's focus on modifying set data. This is basically chapter 15, updating set data. In the previous chapters, we primarily used the select statement, which are usually to find the right rows and columns from one or more tables that were created in the past. So the table is already filled with values. We just use these tables, but not changing the values of the row or columns. Oftentimes, we need to make changes to certain rows and columns in the table. To do that, we can use the update statement. Please remember to double check before you actually use the update statement, because once you run it, the change to the rows and columns are permanent. We will introduce a method to check how to be safe in this chapter later. Before we go to the details, there is a setting that you need to change in your MySQL workbench. Because for safety reasons, the default setting for MySQL Workbench is that you cannot use update without a where clause or some other constraints. And in some example, we're actually going to violate that constraints to make sure that MySQL Workbench will work for it. We need to change the setting. Go to the Edit menu and the Preference, click on it, and then you're going to see a window like that. Click on the SQL editors, and there are some options you can change. The one that we want to do is to uncheck the Save Update option. Okay, by uncheck that, we click OK, then that option has been unchecked. And we have to close MySQL Workbench and start it one more time to make sure the option change has been implemented. It is very important you have to restart your MySQL Workbench after the option change and log in one more time. Okay, now we log in back to MySQL Workbench with the option has changed. Now let's first do a few examples to get familiar with the update statement using the sales order example. Okay, we're going to use the sales order example, and let's see what are the tables. And you are very familiar with all the tables that we used in the past. And we're going to primarily use the product table. Let's see what is the columns in the product table. There are product number, product name, product description, retail price, quantity on hand, and category ID. Okay, let's look at some sample data from the products. Here you see the products here. And you may actually see different number because I have changed the database in the past when I prepare the presentation. Okay, let's do the first example. How about we want to increase the retail price for all product by 10%? It's actually not all product, for product 1. by 10%. So basically it is update the table that you want to update and set basically the columns you would like to update with a value or a expression. In this case, it's an expression. And also you have a where clause to limit how many rows you want to update for that column. In that particular example, we only want to update one row, which is the product number equal to 1 in the products table, and we're going to change only one column for that row, that is the retail price column, and we're going to use the current retail price and make it 10% more times 1.1 as the new value to the retail price column for product number 1. To do that, we just select and write. Okay, it runs successfully, and we can look at it. What are the columns for product number 1? You see that that price has been increased by 10%. Please note again that number may not be the same number you see because I have run this query multiple times and it has changed quite a lot from the original data. So you can compare before and after you run the update statement. So in the above example, we show the basics of using update statement. First, we need to put the table name after the update keywords. The update keywords is update which table. And after that, then use the set keyword to define the columns that needs to be updated on the left of the equal sign, and put the value or expression to the right of the equal sign here. And then use the where keywords to define which rows are to be updated. If you do not use where, then it will be for all the rows in that table. That's the default setting. We have already changed the default setting, so it is now allowed. But it's a very dangerous operation because you're going to change every rows for that column. So make sure that is what you want in real problem. Here's a few more examples. As I mentioned, we can use column name and expressions. We can also use a specific value. In this particular one, we're going to update the product table again for the retail price column for row number 2, the product number equal to 2. Okay, we write, and that is going to change the retail price for product number 2 will be changed to 2,000. We can also use some more complicated where clause combinations like product number between 3 and 5. We can do that as well. So you're going to see some warning sign here, but that's fine. And that's fine. That's actually can be done that right. So let's look at it. What is the change to the value? You can see that the product numbers and some of the retail price has been changed. You can see that you can use all the variations of the where statement that you learned for the select statement, and now they can be applied to update. With some more complicated conditions you can put in here. You can actually update multiple columns in a table by separating them using comma after the set keywords. And for example, the following query will change the the price as well as update the quantity on hand for all the products in category 3. So we use another where condition. This time we used category ID 3 to be the condition. And an important note is that when you update a table, safety is the first to consider. We need to make sure the rows that the query is going to update is exactly what we want. To check that, we can use a select statement according to the update statement to check the rows and columns that will be affected. Here is the corresponding select statement for the example above. For clarity, we added the product name column as well. And please note, this step should be done before you run the update statement. In real situation, and for this, it's just an example. So here, we're actually getting another version. Instead of update, we actually select the product name, retail price, and quantity on hand. Those are the columns that to be changed. Product name is identification from the product table. Let's update from the table name, and the same where condition. So this basically is going to give us all the rows and all the columns that will be updated if you run the update statement. We can also use a subquery in the where clause. Here is the example. In this example, we're going to use the category table as well. Let's look at it. What is inside the category table? The category table, there's only two columns, category ID and category description. In this particular case, we actually use the category description to return a category ID. So still again, it's update products table, and we are going to set the retail price is retail price times 1.04, like a 4% increase, where category ID is in a particular group. That group is returned by a subquery. That is, by using the categories table, we select all the category IDs where the category description is closing. In this particular case, it's only return one value, which is 3. And then we can run that query as well. So that's some examples where you can update a table for certain columns and for certain rows. That's all for today, and here's a homework assignment. First, read through chapter 15 of the textbook and do the following exercise for sales order database. Use orders and order details table. Reduce the quoted price by 5% for orders shipped more than 30 days after the order date. Thank you. Bye.